Good morning and welcome to another one of Drew's book reviews. So today's book review is going to be on Patrick Rothfuss' book, The Name of the Wind. This is the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicles and called Day One. It's called Day One because this book, the setting is after everything in the story has happened and our main character, Voth, has found himself or moved to a small town, changed his name and identity completely, and now runs this little small inn to try and basically hide from the life he had led previously. And this chronicler comes along, so a person who travels and collects stories and writes them down and records them, has come along, and this chronicler is now getting Voth's story to record as he discovered his true identity. And so Voth is relaying his story to the chronicler, and the first book is titled Day One. So this is this part of the story that he tells on the first of 3 days or so that it's taking Voth to relay his life story to the chronicler. So it's kind of taken from Voth's perspective in an autobiographical sense and style of storytelling, which I think is pretty interesting. I really like the way that that's done. So Patrick Rothfuss is basically built this world in which magics are referred to as sympathies, and it's a world in which you gain power over something by learning its true name and identity, which gives you this ability to have power and control over that thing. So of course the name of the wind is all about Voth trying to learn the name of the wind, or he comes to know the name of the wind and thus have power over it. So now, Voth, of course, is an interesting character in his own right. He is born and raised as a traveling actor, as part of a troupe. So his whole family is this traveling showman, this traveling actor troupe, and they've gone from town to town to town, and his father taught him music and how to read and to write and to perform and to tell stories. Voth eventually finds himself as an orphan when his family is completely destroyed and killed and this troop is all dead. He finds himself an orphan, eventually living on the streets, begging for food and learning how to survive at an extremely young age. Now, when he was being raised in this acting troupe, there was one particular person who inspired him and taught him the basic fundamentals of magic and encouraged him to eventually attend the university where everyone goes to learn the magic of the world and learn the name of things and learn how to control and manipulate things through magical abilities referred to as sympathies. But of course his life was ruined, absolutely destroyed. He'd become an orphan struggling for survival on the streets. So it kind of chronicles his story going from traveling with an acting troupe and his family to being an orphan to eventually getting into the university, and then his ongoing confrontations and struggles with just trying to find enough to survive at university, to pay his tuition and cover his costs. So it's really interesting autobiographical style of writing this fantasy story, and it's really good. I mean, so many people told me this is a great book, an absolutely wonderful story, and I have to say they were absolutely right. I am absolutely loving this story. So part of it is Voth's story is that he desperately wants to learn about what's called the Chandrain, which are these demons that haunt the world. He believes the Chandrain are the ones that destroyed and killed his family, and so he wants to know about them. Why did this happen? What did they do to provoke these demons? And he wants to be able to determine the truth and what really happened and why his family was killed and destroyed. One of the stories that the book relays is the story of the legend of Telhu, which is reminiscent of the legend of Christ. It's a lot of parallels in that. I can see how that story was influenced by the Christian story of Christ. Telhu being this being born of a virgin mother who got impregnated after a dream and impregnated this woman with himself to be born into the world, and then he traveled the world ministering and casting out demons. So there's a lot of parallels to the story of Christ in this legend of Telhu, which is described within this book. and just kind of quote from part of that legend. Telhu says, "I am Telhu, son of myself, father of myself. I was before, and I will be after. If I am sacrificed, then it is to myself alone. And if I am needed and called in the proper ways, then I will come again to judge and punish." So this legend of this god named Telhu, which everyone worships, who is born of a virgin, he impregnated himself to this virgin, was born into the world, and promised to come again if called, to judge and punish those who do wrong. So that is definitely reminiscent of the Christian gospel of Jesus Christ within this book. And I kind of like how he took that legend and myth and kind of incorporated it into a story in a way that I thought worked quite well. And I really like that aspect of it. Overall, I thought that was really, really good and really enjoyed that. So definitely some very interesting mythology built within this world that has been created by Patrick Rothfuss. Just really enjoyed that. And of course, like any good religious theology, you've got to have a good and you've got to have evil. So the devil, or the evil one, is called Encanus, who is basically this world's version of Satan, or the devil. One of the characters I really liked within this book as well, or mysterious characters there, is Bast. He seems to be a creature of the Fae, a Phaedrian creature. We don't know much about him, but we know that he is basically Voth's apprentice, as he works the inn right alongside with him. We don't really know where they met, or who they were, or what they're doing, or what he's doing with Voth, but he is basically Voth's apprentice. We don't know much about him other than that, and I'm really hoping that the next book in the series kind of brings more light to this character and who he is and what he's doing, where he came from. Because overall, it's definitely a mysterious character, and everyone loves a mystery. I want to know more about this guy. But overall, I have to say I'm really, really enjoying this. The Kingkiller Chronicles, just a fantastic book. I absolutely love it. It's no wonder it's had so much praise, both by other authors, like such as Orson Scott Card, as well as the friends that I've talked to that have read. It's like, oh my gosh, they said to me, "Why haven't you read this yet?" And they're right, why did I? Great book. Absolutely really enjoying this, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting on to the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, or day 2 of his storytelling to the Chronicler, coming up. That one, of course, is a book titled The Wise Man's Fear, so definitely stay tuned. Check that out when it comes out. I will be putting that up as soon as I'm done. Really look forward to getting into that book. And again, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. As always, links to my social media profiles will be in the description below. I want to thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this book, if you didn't like this book, whatever, just let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, and I hope you have yourself a great day. Again, thanks for watching. So that's my thoughts on The Wise Man's Fear. Oh, sorry, Wise Man's Fear coming up next. Those are my thoughts on The Name of the Wind. And don't forget to stay tuned for The Wise Man's Fear. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have yourself a great day.